Welcome. The United States advised to prepare for the victory of Russia and the loss of half of the territory of Ukraine. If this happens, then the rest of Ukraine will not be taken into either NATO or the EU. It seems that the United States no longer believes that Ukraine can return the lost territories by force. A couple of days ago, Elon Musk announced that soon the offensive pace of the armed forces of Ukraine would weaken, which could lead to a retaliatory strike from the Russian army. The Wall Street Journal openly says that during the counteroffensive, Russia can already gain control of Odessa and Kharkiv, but the results of the NATO summit for Kiev turned out to be disappointing. Recall that Kiev has not received an invitation to join the alliance. In addition, he was not given any guarantees, but the number of weapons that will be transferred to the APU is clearly less than what Zelensky expected. As a result, the president of Ukraine in a rather rude form expressed his dissatisfaction with the behavior of NATO members. Such words were not without attention, because yesterday the head of the British Defence Ministry, Ben Wallace, demanded more gratitude from the president of Ukraine for the assistance provided. Zelensky replied that he no longer had any idea how he still needed to thank NATO and advised the Minister of Defense to indicate himself how this should be done. In a word, tensions are growing, and yesterday the well-known American political scientist John Mearsheimer expressed his opinion on the possible end of the Ukrainian conflict.
In an interview with the Chinese edition of Sump published in Hong Kong, he predicted that in the event of Ukraine's defeat, the country could lose about half of its territory. Mearsheimer said that Ukraine risks losing significant territorial chunks, approximately corresponding to half of its current area. He also noted that in this case, the West will not be interested in Ukraine's admission either to NATO or to the European Union. The political scientist suggested that such a development of events would lead to the impossibility of Ukraine's further confrontation with Russia. He believes that this may be the end result of the conflict. Mearsheimer also called on the West to prepare for Russia's victory and is confident that active hostilities will last for about 2 more years. It is worth noting that many analysts disagree with this point of view. It is assumed that this fall there will be a turning point associated with the start of the primaries before the presidential elections in the United States. Well, since the Democrats do not need ballast in the form of a losing Ukraine, they will try to throw off this load as quickly as possible. Even before the start of the SO, representatives of Kiev and the countries of the collective West came to an unspoken agreement that in the future conflict with Moscow, Ukraine will provide manpower. Both sides hoped that in the process of armed confrontation, Russia would collapse by itself, and the collective West would be able to prolong its economic agony by plundering the Russian economy. And Ukraine would receive the status of a European state with the ability to swing rights within the walls of the EU. This text was voiced using Yandex Cloud Speak It. The problems began when the collective West had everything else ended and Russia not only did not collapse, but also strengthened its position in the international arena by building mutually beneficial relationships with a number of international players who were on the list of Western allies yesterday. All this has significantly complicated life not only for Washington, but also for the EU countries to which the UK, although formally not related, but at the same time is in the